you ever felt like you're just existing, not truly living? Like you're checking off boxes, going through the motions, yet deep down something's missing? In a world addicted to noise, speed, and distraction, we rarely stop to ask, am I really becoming the person I'm meant to be? This isn't about chasing perfection or impressing others. It's about waking up each morning with clarity, courage, and a quiet fire in your soul. It's about aligning your actions with your essence, living not just by default, but by deep design. If that strikes a chord, then you're in the right place. In this video, I'll walk you through 9 timeless Stoic principles, not abstract philosophies, but practical tools that have helped warriors, emperors, and thinkers for over 2,000 years. Each one is a compass, a mirror, a quiet force that helps you stay grounded in chaos, move with purpose, and rise again and again. If you're seeking more than just another morning routine, if you're ready to build a life rooted in inner power, wisdom, and self-respect, stay with me, because what you'll discover here might just change how you meet the day and yourself. Principle 1. I am capable. Some mornings, the weight of the world arrives before your feet even hit the floor. Responsibilities, doubts, deadlines, they don't wait for your coffee to kick in. But here's the truth most people forget. You are already enough to begin. You don't need to wait until you feel confident. You just need to remember something far more important. You are capable. This simple declaration isn't about puffed up ego or empty motivation. It's about reclaiming the quiet truth buried beneath years of self-doubt and external noise. It's about anchoring yourself, not in perfection, but in potential. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That strength lives in you, not in some future version of you with a better resume, a fitter body, or a clearer path, but in the present you, as you are now, with all your scars, fears, and quiet resilience. When you remind yourself, I am capable, you're not just calming your nerves. You're calling forth your inner commander, the part of you that doesn't flinch when life gets loud. You're choosing to trust your preparation, your wisdom, and your will to keep moving. Let's be honest, the world will never run out of reasons to make you feel less than. You'll be judged, overlooked, doubted, even by people close to you. But when you anchor your worth internally, their noise can't shake your foundation. You start showing up differently. You speak with calm instead of proving. You move with purpose instead of panic. And something remarkable happens. Others begin to trust you too. Not because you shouted louder, but because your quiet confidence is unmistakable. Ask yourself, how many opportunities have you walked past because you whispered, I can't, when what you meant was, I'm afraid? Let's flip that script. You absolutely can. Remember, capability isn't the absence of fear. It's the courage to act in its presence. It's the steady voice that says, this is hard, but I am harder. The Stoics believed that courage wasn't something dramatic, it was daily. It lived in the moment you rise when you'd rather hide, in the moment you speak your truth, or simply refuse to betray yourself. So tomorrow morning, before the doubts, the scroll, the noise, pause, take a breath, plant your feet, and whisper this into the silence of a new day. I am capable, and then go prove it. Principle 2. I shape my reality. Take a moment and look around. What do you see? Your job, your home, your relationships, your routine. They all seem external, outside your control. But Stoicism flips the lens. It says, it's not what happens that shapes your life, but how you interpret and respond to it. In other words, you shape your reality, not with blind optimism, not by pretending pain doesn't exist, but by recognizing the unshakable truth that your perceptions are the paintbrush and your mind is the canvas. Let me tell you something few people realize. Most of the limits in our lives aren't placed there by the world. They're placed by the stories we repeat to ourselves. I'm not ready. I'll wait until the timing is right. What if I fail? But what if the timing is never right? What if failure is part of the path? And what if readiness comes not before, but after you begin? The Stoics didn't wait for fate to hand them an opportunity. They lived as if each moment was their moment to choose. Epictetus taught, it's not things that disturb us, but our judgment about things. This isn't self-help fluff. It's a radical form of responsibility, owning the fact that you are not a victim of your circumstances, but a sculptor of your response. And sculptors don't wait for perfect marble. They start carving. Ask yourself, how would your day change if you woke up and thought, I have the power to define what this day will mean? It doesn't mean you can control everything. You won't. Life will still bring traffic, conflict, loss, surprises. But what you can control is your narrative. You can either see obstacles as evidence that the world is against you, or as the training ground where strength is forged. When you start living with this mindset, you stop drifting. You stop waiting. You start creating moments of clarity, courage, and momentum. You stop asking permission, and you start acting with purpose. And here's the most powerful part. When you begin to shape your own reality, the world begins to respond differently to you. People sense your direction. Opportunities align with your effort. Clarity becomes your compass. But this requires a choice, a daily, deliberate choice. To take the wheel of your inner world, even when the outer world feels chaotic. So tomorrow, when life throws noise your way, ask yourself, am I reacting blindly or responding with intention? Am I waiting to be rescued or remembering I shape my reality? The difference isn't in what happens. It's in who you decide to be in the middle of it all. And that changes everything. Principle 3, my path is clear. Have you ever walked into your day feeling like you're wading through fog? Uncertain, unfocused, pulled in every direction, yet going nowhere? You're not alone. In a world flooded with opinions, deadlines, and distractions, clarity is a rare currency. But here's the Stoic reminder we often forget. Your path is not found. It's forged. And it begins with a choice, to claim clarity, not wait for it. When you wake each morning and remind yourself, my path is clear, you're not ignoring the obstacles. You're reframing them. Because clarity isn't the absence of resistance. It's the presence of direction. It's choosing to focus not on the 100 things you can't control, but on the one step you can take right now. The Stoics knew this intimately. They didn't seek a life free from storms. They became navigators, masters of the inner compass. As Seneca wrote, if a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. This principle, my path is clear, isn't about knowing every turn ahead. It's about anchoring to your why, and trusting that even when the road twists, your values remain straight. Think about it. When you carry mental clutter from past regrets or future anxieties, it's like driving through fog with a cracked windshield. But when you declare clarity, you wipe the glass clean. You move forward, not because everything is perfect, but because your purpose is present. This mindset transforms how you face each moment. A rude comment no longer derails your day. A delay no longer defines your worth. You don't react impulsively. You respond intentionally. You begin to move through life like water, fluid, focused, and unshaken. You stop asking, what should I do? And start asking, what's the next right thing I can do now in alignment with who I am becoming? And here's something beautiful. The more you practice this internal clarity, the more the external world begins to mirror it. You'll notice patterns, possibilities, doors you didn't even see before, because clarity sharpens not just your vision, but your presence. So let this be your compass. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to own your direction and take the next step, clearly, consciously, courageously. Say it again. My path is clear, not because the road is easy, but because I choose to walk it, eyes open, heart grounded, and mind aligned. Principle 4. I grow stronger daily. Growth doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. It shows up not as a breakthrough, but as a quiet decision to show up again. I grow stronger daily. Say it, not as a boast, but as a truth earned through effort. Because real strength isn't built in leaps. It's forged in the small, unseen moments, when you choose discipline over comfort, purpose over distraction. We live in a world obsessed with instant results. But the Stoics remind us, true progress is nonlinear, a winding path, not a straight highway. There are days you sprint and days you crawl, but each day is a step, forward, inward, upward. Picture a blacksmith forging a sword. It's not shaped in one blow. It's formed through repeated strikes, heat, pressure, refinement. And so are you. Epictetus once taught, no great thing is created suddenly. There must be time. Give it time. When you adopt this mindset, you stop judging your worth by what you've achieved today. Instead, you start asking, what did I strengthen today? Maybe it was your patience during conflict, your consistency in practice, or simply the fact that you didn't quit, even when no one was watching. Growth is not always visible. Sometimes it's quiet inner work, unlearning old habits, rewiring your self-talk, choosing calm in the face of chaos. And here's the shift. When you begin to see growth as a daily act, not a distant goal, you regain power. You no longer chase transformation. You become it in motion. This principle also calls for something rare but vital, self-compassion. There will be days you fall short, but falling is not failing. It's part of the rhythm of becoming. So ask yourself, can you honor your progress even when it's slow? Can you hold space for the unfinished version of you while still striving for better? Because the one who grows stronger daily doesn't seek applause. They seek alignment with their values, their vision, their evolving self. And over time, something incredible happens. Your strength becomes visible, not in loud declarations, but in quiet resilience. In how you carry burdens lighter, how you listen deeper, how you rise quicker. So today, don't chase perfection. Just plant one seed, nurture it, and trust that the strongest trees don't grow in a day, but they do grow every day. I grow stronger daily. That's not just a mindset. It's a way of living, unshakable, intentional, real. Principle 5. I commit to excellence. Excellence isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself or demand attention. It's quiet, daily, often invisible, but it leaves a mark on your character, your choices, your legacy. I commit to excellence, not as a way to impress others, but as a personal vow, a compass that guides how I think, speak, and act. In a world that chases shortcuts, applause, and quick wins, this commitment is almost radical. It means you choose to show up fully, even when no one is watching. To do the right thing, even when it's the hard thing. Marcus Aurelius once said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. That is the spirit of excellence. Not perfection, but presence. Not performance, but principle. When you commit to excellence, you're not trying to be better than others. You're striving to be better than who you were yesterday. You're chasing mastery, not in skill alone, but in self. This commitment shows up in how you speak to a stranger, how you handle a setback, how you respond to pressure. It's how you carry yourself when no praise is given. Because you're not driven by validation, you're driven by virtue. The Stoics believe that our highest duty is to live in accordance with nature and reason. And that means cultivating virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. Excellence, then, is simply choosing to embody those virtues, consistently, intentionally. And yes, it's demanding. Some days you'll want to cut corners. You'll be tired, unseen, unappreciated. But remember, this isn't about applause. It's about alignment. Because when you live with excellence as your standard, you don't just elevate your results, you elevate your identity. You become someone others can rely on. Someone they respect, not for your words, but for your consistency. This path isn't glamorous. It requires solitude, accountability, and self-leadership. But it yields something rare, inner peace. The peace that comes from knowing. I gave my best today, and tomorrow I will again. Excellence isn't an outcome. It's a way of being. It's in how you train your mind, how you treat people, how you tend to the small things. Because you know that how you do anything is how you do everything. So each morning renew the vow. Not loudly, not for the world, just between you and the mirror. I commit to excellence, and I live like it matters. Principle 6. Excuses do not define me. Excuses feel safe. They're soft, familiar. They wrap around us like warm blankets of reason when reality feels too cold. But here's the truth. Every excuse we accept is a small surrender, a quiet way of saying, I'm not in charge here. And that's a lie. The Stoics didn't believe in excuses. They believed in ownership, in looking life straight in the eye and saying, this is mine to carry and mine to change. When you say, excuses do not define me, you're not claiming to be perfect. You're committing to be responsible. Because every time you whisper, it's too hard, you silence the voice that says, I am capable. And every time you choose the easy out, you walk further from the person you're meant to become. Ask yourself, how many times have you traded progress for comfort? How many dreams were delayed by the sentence, now's not the right time? Let's be honest. Excuses aren't just explanations. They're permissions to stay stuck. But here's the Stoic pivot. You don't need permission. You need direction. You need a moment of clarity where you draw the line and say, I will not let my fears dress up as logic. I will not confuse delay with wisdom. Epictetus taught us, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. And excuses are often just distorted opinions, stories that feel true but keep us small. When you reject them, you reclaim your power. This doesn't mean you won't struggle. It means you'll struggle honestly, without the cushion of a lie. It means that when failure comes, and it will, you'll own it. Not as shame, but as data. Not as defeat, but as direction. And slowly, the excuses get quieter. Discipline gets louder. Your self-image shifts, not into arrogance, but into alignment. You stop saying, I'll try, and start saying, I'll do. You stop waiting for motivation, and start building momentum. So the next time the excuse creeps in, I don't have time, I'm not ready, it's just not me. Pause, breathe, and remember, excuses do not define you. Your choices do. Your effort does. Your integrity does. And you are far more powerful than any story fear tries to sell you. Principle 7. I am designed for greatness. You weren't made to shrink. You weren't built just to survive routines, dodge risks, and blend in. You were designed for something greater. That may sound grandiose in a world that worships humility, but this isn't about ego. It's about origin, about reclaiming a truth that hardship and criticism may have buried deep within you. I am designed for greatness, not the kind of greatness that chases applause, but the kind that serves with conviction, that creates with intention, that stands quietly unshaken while others bend. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, but in his writings, he constantly reminded himself, waste no more time, be what you were made to be. That's not just philosophy, that's a call to remember, because life will try to make you forget. You'll face failure, rejection, disappointment. You'll be tempted to settle, to play small, stay safe, lower the volume on your dreams. But here's what the Stoics, and your own soul, would say. Don't confuse struggle with misalignment. Greatness doesn't feel comfortable. It feels like growth. You were made with gifts that no one else carries the same way. You see the world in a way that no algorithm can replicate. That's not accidental. That's intentional. When you start living from this belief, everything shifts. You no longer ask, "Am I worthy of this goal?" You start asking, "How can I serve more boldly with what I've been given?" You move differently, speak differently, led differently, not louder but truer. Greatness isn't about dominance. It's about devotion to your values, your vision, and the silent vow you make to the best version of yourself. And yes, it will demand more of you, more courage, more resilience, more patience, but it will also give more in return: clarity, connection, and a quiet sense of knowing you're finally aligned with who you were always meant to be. So the next time self-doubt whispers, the next time you feel the urge to dim your light, pause, breathe, and speak this truth, not to the world, but to the part of you that almost forgot. I am designed for greatness, and I will live like someone who remembers. Principle 8. External opinions do not sway me. What if you could walk through life unaffected by judgment? Not cold, not arrogant, but centered, grounded so deeply in your own values that the noise around you fades into the background. That's not fantasy. That's freedom. External opinions do not sway me. Because if you let praise lift you too high, criticism will crush you just as easily. If you shape your life to please everyone, you'll end up a stranger to yourself. The Stoics had a name for this inner strength. The inner citadel, a mental fortress no words, no gossip, no misunderstanding could ever penetrate. Epictetus taught, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. In other words, don't expect the world to understand your path, just walk it. That doesn't mean you ignore all feedback or isolate yourself. It means you filter the voices. You ask, does this help me grow? Or does this just pull me off course? Because the truth is, people will project their fears onto your courage. They'll criticize what they don't understand. And sometimes their opinions will come wrapped in concern, even love. But still, you must choose who you belong to, them or yourself. This is not easy. We're wired to seek approval. We're taught to stay likable, agreeable, inoffensive. But here's the Stoic reminder. Your peace is more valuable than their approval. When you stop trying to be everything to everyone, you start becoming something real to yourself. You walk into rooms not wondering who likes you, but focused on who you're here to serve, uplift, or impact. You make decisions not based on applause, but alignment. And slowly, something powerful happens. People begin to respect your presence, because it's not reactive, it's rooted. You become a lighthouse, still, bright, unmoved. Let the world speak. Let them misunderstand. Let them project, praise, doubt, debate. You stay grounded, because the deepest form of confidence isn't loud. It's the quiet knowing that who you are is enough. So the next time the urge to please takes over, the next time criticism stings or praise distracts, return to your center, breathe, and remember, external opinions do not sway me, because I do not live from the outside in, I live from the inside out. Principle 9. I embrace the present moment. The past is heavy, the future is uncertain, but the present, it's all you ever truly have. And yet, how often do we miss it? We scroll through time. We rehearse old mistakes. We live on autopilot, chasing someday, while this day slips quietly through our fingers. But the Stoics knew something we often forget. Life doesn't happen later. It happens now. I embrace the present moment, not as a cliche, but as a conscious act of rebellion against distraction, against regret, against delay. Marcus Aurelius wrote, confine yourself to the present. Why? Because when you fully enter the now, you gain access to something rare, clarity. In the present, there is no shame from yesterday, no fear of tomorrow, only choices, action, breath, awareness. You're not avoiding your past. You're learning from it. You're not ignoring your future. You're preparing for it by showing up fully here. Think about it. The best conversations you've ever had, the truest moments of connection, the breakthroughs, the awe, they didn't happen while multitasking. They happened when you were here, present, open, alive. This mindset isn't about constant stillness. It's about intentional presence, even in movement. When you walk, you walk. When you eat, you taste. When you speak, you listen. When you breathe, you breathe. And in that presence, you reclaim power. You stop reacting from habit. You start responding from awareness. This doesn't mean you'll never drift. Your mind will wander. Your focus will slip. But each time you return to the present, you strengthen the muscle of mindfulness. And slowly life becomes richer, not because anything changed externally, but because you started paying attention. You'll begin to notice the way sunlight hits the window, the sound of someone's laughter, the calm between breaths. Small things, but they add up to a life fully lived. So when the worries rise or the past knocks or the to-do list overwhelms, pause and whisper to yourself, I embrace the present moment because it is the only place where life is real, and I intend to live it fully. Principle 10. I respond, I do not react. Life is loud. People interrupt. Emotions rise. Plans unravel. And in those moments, it's easy, so easy, to snap back, to lash out, to let the chaos around you dictate the chaos within. But what if you didn't? What if, instead of reacting blindly, you chose to respond wisely? I respond. I do not react. This isn't about suppression. It's about sovereignty, the ability to pause, observe, and choose your next move. The Stoics mastered this art. To them, emotional discipline wasn't coldness. It was courage, the kind that keeps your soul steady in the face of storms. Epictetus wrote, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. When you react, you give power away to others' moods, to passing moments, to impulses that come and go like weather. But when you respond, you reclaim it. You become the one at the wheel, not the one tossed around by every wave. Think about your own life. How many arguments escalated because of instant reactions? How many regrets were born in seconds you didn't pause to breathe? Now imagine this, a version of you that doesn't flinch or over-explain, that listens deeply, speaks deliberately, and moves with intention. That version of you is forged in the space between stimulus and response. It's the moment you choose silence over sarcasm, curiosity over defensiveness, clarity over chaos, and slowly people begin to notice. They trust you more, because your presence isn't reactive, it's anchored. This principle isn't just for conflict. It's for every decision, every conversation, every trigger. It's how you maintain dignity in disagreement. It's how you protect your peace in a world that wants your attention on tap. So the next time the pressure builds, when you feel the urge to fire back, shut down, or spiral, pause, ask, is this response worthy of the person I'm becoming? And let your actions echo not the noise of the world, but the depth of your inner discipline. I respond. I do not react. And in that pause, I reclaim my power. Principle 11. I choose progress over perfection. Perfection is a mirage. It shimmers in the distance, promising arrival, validation, peace. But the closer you chase it, the further it moves. And the longer you chase it, the more likely you are to freeze. Because perfection doesn't just demand more, it demands everything. And in doing so, it often takes your courage, your momentum, your joy. But you have another option, a truer, braver one. I choose progress over perfection. This is a mindset shift that dismantles shame, that welcomes mistakes not as flaws, but as footprints of movement. The Stoics didn't aim to be flawless. They aimed to be virtuous, steadily, honestly, humanly. Seneca once said, "While we wait for life, life passes." And that's what perfectionism does. It delays living. It convinces you that unless it's brilliant, it's not worth starting. Unless you're ready, you shouldn't begin. But the Stoic way is different. It says begin, fail well, learn faster, keep going. Progress is humble. It shows up in early drafts, in awkward conversations, in imperfect efforts. It's what builds bridges while perfection waits for blueprints. Think about it. What's more powerful? Someone who never moves until conditions are ideal, or someone who shows up every day, rain or shine, and takes one step forward? Progress is momentum. It's muscle. It's the proof that you're not stuck, you're growing. And that growth, it's messy, uneven, wonderfully human. But it's also magnetic. People trust those who evolve more than those who pretend. So let go of the illusion that you must have it all figured out. Let go of the fear that you'll get it wrong. You will, and that's exactly how you'll get it right. Instead, wake up and say, "Today I will move, even if I stumble, even if it's small, because forward is still forward. I choose progress over perfection, and in that choice, I choose freedom." Principle 12, I protect my energy. Not everything deserves your time. Not every invitation deserves a yes. Not every argument deserves your voice. Because your energy, your focus, attention, and emotional bandwidth is finite. And if you give it away carelessly, don't be surprised when burnout replaces clarity. I protect my energy, not out of selfishness, but out of self-respect. The Stoics knew this long before self-care became a trend. To them, guarding your inner peace wasn't luxury, it was duty. A necessity to act with virtue and clarity in a world constantly pulling at your sleeve. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary?" That question alone can save you hours, even years. Because most noise is just that, noise. Most distractions are cleverly disguised extractions of time, peace, purpose. To protect your energy is to live deliberately. It means setting boundaries not out of anger, but from alignment. It means understanding this. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every invitation is yours to accept. Not every emotional storm is yours to stand in. It's about discerning what feeds you and what drains you and acting accordingly. This might mean saying no, with grace but firmly. Turning off notifications that train your brain to beg for dopamine. Walking away from drama that thrives on your attention. Or even letting go of relationships that cost more peace than they give joy. Protecting your energy doesn't mean isolation. It means curation. It means choosing who and what enters your mental space. Because your mind is not a public park. It's a sacred temple, and not everything is welcome. When you live this way, something shifts. You become less reactive, more intentional. You have space to think, feel, and create. And from that space, your best work and your truest self emerge. So each day, remind yourself, I protect my energy because my purpose needs fuel, and my peace is non-negotiable. Principle 13, I live with intention. Most people don't live, they drift. They wake up and go where the day pushes them. They react, comply, scroll, repeat. But you're not here to drift. You are here to direct, to choose, to live with intention. I live with intention. That's not just a mindset. It's a stance, a declaration that your life is not an accident. It is a masterpiece in progress, and you are the artist. Living with intention means you no longer say yes just because it's easier. You no longer chase things because others do. You no longer let your past write your future. Instead, you ask, what matters most right now? What kind of person am I becoming through this choice? Does this align with my deepest values or just my passing emotions? The Stoics lived by this. For them, each day was a chance to practice philosophy not in books, but in decisions, how they spoke, how they responded, how they carried themselves. Seneca wrote, "Life is long if you know how to use it." And that's the power of intention. It transforms time from a blur into a gift. It turns each action, no matter how small, into a brick in the foundation of your legacy. Living intentionally is not about being perfect. It's about being present and purposeful. It's about knowing that each moment carries weight, and you get to decide what it's worth. So as you close this chapter, take this to heart. You are not at the mercy of life's currents. You are the current. Every word you speak, every habit you keep, every decision you make, it all builds the life you're living tomorrow. So live like it matters. I live with intention, because my life is not a rehearsal. It is the real thing, and I will honor it. You've now walked through 13 Stoic principles, not rules, not commands, but tools for thinking clearly, acting with courage, and living with depth in a distracted world. These aren't one-time mantras. They're daily invitations to return to what matters, to reclaim your power, to remember who you are beneath the noise. Whether you're rising from a setback, seeking clarity, or simply longing to live more fully, these principles are here to guide you. Print them, speak them, live them, and each day, let them bring you back to a truth that can't be shaken. You are capable. You are growing. You are responsible. You are powerful. You are enough. Thank you for being part of this journey. Now go, not to chase a perfect life, but to live an intentional one. If something in you stirred while listening, don't ignore it. That spark, that tug in your chest, it's not just curiosity, it's readiness. You're not here to collect wisdom like quotes on a wall. You're here to live it, to feel it in your bones, to let it shape how you wake up, speak, decide, and lead. So here's your next step. Choose one of these 13 principles. Just one. Make it your compass for the next 24 hours. Return to it. Breathe it. Live it. And if this journey spoke to something deeper in you, then don't let it end here. Hit subscribe to join a growing community of thinkers, builders, and quiet warriors. Watch the next video, curated to keep your momentum alive. Share this with someone who's ready to rise, not louder but truer, because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs more clarity, more presence, more of you, the version that's fully awake. Your path is clear. Now walk it.